Well, hello everyone. Ogre27 Kane here today, and we're gonna do a review of Daemon X Machina for the Nintendo Switch. Let's do a brief overview and figure out what this game is all about. So this is a mech combat game in the same vein as Armored Core. This was brought to us by Marvelous Studios all the way back in 2019, and I remember playing the demo to it and being blown away. They came back with something much better, and the product is fantastic. The game is very deep and very rich, and it has a crazy twisting story as well as tons of customization options. One of the things I truly like about this game is its pick up and play nature. It really doesn't need you to sit and play it over and over as long as you understand all the controls and abilities. Let's go ahead and touch on gameplay. So the gameplay loop in this is fairly simplistic. It revolves around a story beater cutscene in which you meet other characters involved in the mission and your objectives and goals, and it gives you a layout of the area. Then you're put down into the area and you decide how to accomplish said mission. Now most of the time I just took these on head on and just went straight for the objective, but there is a certain amount of variation to how you handle situations. There's a little bit of stealth involved, a little bit of defense involved, and a little bit of plotting and planning. But for the most part, if you're quick with the controls, you can accomplish almost everything you need to, and as long as you stay on top of upgrading your mech, then it's not a problem. Most of the stuff you'll find in this game is all in the missions itself, so it kind of makes the money in the shop a little bit of a nuisance, almost not even needed. I always went through and spent the most amount of time upgrading my mech before actually playing each mission because that's truly where I got the most advantage. Now that being said, I truly enjoyed the way the gameplay works in this because it does feed into itself well with the fast-paced nature, and it doesn't spend a lot of time giving you useless information and dialogue. The characters can be fun and engaging, but at the same time they can be a little bit boring. So let's go ahead and jump into the story. So the story in this game starts out fairly simple, as essentially there's radiation radiating a planet that's destroying all these things and causing this enemy AI to go nuts. You're tasked with knocking out this AI and figuring out what's going on. Now, as you play through the game, you'll begin to understand there's more complexity to the story and the characters involved. Characters that you thought were on your side may not actually be on your side, and characters that you didn't like or trust at first may end up becoming your best friends. This is a cool little twist to it, but it's not really that essential important because a lot of times you don't care, you just want to get into the next mission and blow up the next big thing. The game does have some really cool enemies, and the boss fights are a lot of fun, and it does have a pretty awesome outcome at the end, but once again, the story is very simplistic, so it's not really the highlight of it. One of the things I did truly like about the story is how it does allow you to figure this out on your own as you go, and go back. So let's do controls and audio. So we're going to start out with controls, as I feel they're very well done for what they were trying to accomplish. Your left trigger is your left weapon, your right trigger is your right weapon, L is your shoulder weapon, and Y is your grenades and other specials. The rest of the time you'll be figuring out your movement, which is not just up, down, left, and right, but you also have a verticality to it that you need to experiment with. Going up in the battlefield and down took me a little while to figure out, but is essential to accomplishing most missions. Now we're going to touch on an audio clip here because I feel the audio is extremely well done, although the voice acting's a little bit stiff and not really that important. The music in this game is absolutely amazing, so let's go ahead and take a listen.
Maybe you would be better off dead. We certainly are.
Scanning battlefield. Femtoparticle density in this area is low. Short-range radar will not be affected. Initiating each arsenal's data link. Opening squad communications channel.
Good to see you again. Counting on you.
Chris had something else to take care of. So, what are we playing today?
So now we're going to talk about combat, which is truly where this game shines. And the amount of variation you have to this is absolutely over the top. Yes, it starts out kind of chaotic and frantic at first, but once you figure out what weapons do what, and utilizing blasters or lasers or missiles or what have you, all comes into play with your strategy. I love the melee options in this game too, as finding a big chunky sword that you really like allows you to fly through enemies and just slice through them. There's also a huge puzzle element to this when you're fighting bosses, as you have to figure out which weapon damages which part and how to do it in what order. You'll also need to pick up enemy items and enemy weapons themselves and enemies themselves and utilize them in this structure. As you can see right here, I have a tank that I decided to pick up and throw at this group of enemies, and it gave it like a blast nature, which really gave me another option on how I wanted to handle a large group of enemies. I love the combat to this game, and it is truly the best part to it, but it does take some getting used to, and you will need to learn how to strategize on how to take down big bosses. That being said, I highly recommend getting into understanding the system and the customization because it's the best part. So let's do graphics and animations now. So as far as the graphic and animation quality on this, it's absolutely top notch. I didn't have a single performance issue through the entire game, no crashes, no weird pop-in, no audio bugs, nothing. And the game has a very stable locked 30 FPS to it. Considering how many different polygons are flying around at any one time, this is really a highlight to how well they optimize this game. Now I will say that a lot of the environments and arenas do look the same and you will fight a lot of the same enemy types. There's not a huge variation to that, but considering how fast-paced the game is, you don't really have time to stop and look at that. Now yes, this game is available on the PC and you can get a higher frame rate and resolution there, but I feel that if all you have is the Switch as an option, this is a great game and a great way to play it. I absolutely adored this and I love how much work they put into it because it really shows Marvelous is a great studio and they do have some really talented people working there. So, without further ado, I think we should jump into the conclusion. So in conclusion, I think this game is an absolute must-buy. Yes, it still runs around $40 to $50, and that may seem like a lot to you given that it's a 6-year-old game, but the amount of content this game has is absolutely mind-boggling. You'll spend a ton of time, I would say between 40 and 60 hours, just going through the missions and upgrading your mech, and really truly enjoying all the different features to this game. Marvelous did a great job on this game, and I really can't speak highly enough about it. So thank you for watching today's video. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day. This is Ogre 27 Kane, signing out.